Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to the conversation part of chapter 2. So in the previous chapter, we have learned that the self-cultivation is one of the 8 steps from the Great Learning. So self-cultivation is very important in Confucius teaching. So again, in this conversation part, we invite He Mei to continue this discussion about Junzi and self-cultivation. So He Mei. So as we know that the Confucius was emphasized that social status is irrelevant of becoming a Junzi. And despite a huge difference in intelligence and talents and ability among people, still everybody has this potential and can cultivate these talents to realize himself to the fullest morality. So my question is that, do you think that everybody is capable of becoming a Junzi? What does it mean, Junzi, in your mind?
Yes, as far as I have read about Confucius' life, and because I have also went to his hometown, and I realized that he was just an ordinary person with an extraordinary characteristic. So I think everybody is capable of becoming a Junzi, because like Confucius, as I said, that he was an ordinary person, but his personality, his character was quite extraordinary, and just because of his personality that he became a role model, and this is the reason everybody thinks that he is the greatest sage of all times. Mm-hmm. So I think it requires some effort that you have to put in to build up that character. Mm-hmm. The elements of becoming a Junzi is inside us, but we have to find them and we have to cultivate them so that we can be on that part and become that great person that we all admire. Mm-hmm. So we can become that person ourselves and we can inspire other people.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you're right. You were saying that the element of becoming Junzi is inside in everybody. So that reminds me one of the sentences from the Analects. It's talking about the original quality or natural quality and the acquired refinement. In Chinese, 文质彬彬. So according to Confucius, it says it's better to find the balance between the natural quality and acquired refinement. So you were saying that element, we need to find the element. Of course, that element already exists in everybody, but the task for everyone to cultivate it, try to cultivate the potential of it so that we can be in the right process of becoming a Junzi. Confucius set us a very, very good example to every one of us, even today. So when we're talking about the self-cultivation today, and maybe there is a different interpretation. Of course, we realize it is important to have the self-cultivation, but in modern interpretation, can we add something more about this, like, exemplary Junzi?
I think because when we read about this particular person, we think that this is a very natural reaction, that we think that this is a person who only exists in the books. Mm-hmm. And Junzi is a person who has to have a good characteristic and very humane and kind, all those words that only exist in the books. But I think that a Junzi is also a person who is well motivated, well focused, and who has certain goals in life, and he wants to achieve that by following a certain path, and he does not deviate from that path in his entire life. So I think all those people who became successful, who followed that path, are people who can be termed as Junzi, are people who can be termed as role models for the society. So I think we have to give this modern interpretation to this word so more people can relate to it and more people can understand it, that this is something that everybody is capable of doing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think you're right, because when Confucius were talking about being a true Junzi, he realized that it is not an easy job to become a true Junzi. When he was in praise of his favorite disciple, Yan Hui, and even for Yan Hui, it's hard, it's a difficult job for him. So we can see that become a true Junzi is not easy. However, we should have this vision. We should have like this more role model to develop ourselves. Have you heard of Chinese in 慎独? So that means being watchful over yourself when you are alone. Mm-hmm. So that is 慎独 is one of the most difficult element or the concept or maybe the characteristics of being a Junzi. And do you know anything about it? Maybe before that, I would like to share with you about my experience, and I would like to make a confession about my inappropriate behavior when I was alone. Actually, I remember that one day I rode a shared bicycle. Okay, I was in a hurry to catch a bus. Okay, so normally we have a certain place to park the bicycle. But then, because I saw the bus is coming, okay, so I can't find a place to park the bicycle. And I was told, well, there may be another place across the street and you can pass. But simply because the bus is coming, I am in a hurry to catch on the bus. And then I just parked on the roadside. And then on the way back home, I was thinking about, am I right? Am I professor in the university, and I'm so ashamed of and even feel guilty about it. Maybe that is a good example to show that when you have this role model in your heart, in your mind, we can restrain our behavior by the rights or by such a criteria. Yes. So I was explaining this. Yes, so could you?
I would like to add something here. Like there is a saying that do what is right, do not do what is easy. So we have to choose. There are certain situations, like as you mentioned, that because that was easy for you, although that was not a right thing to do, but you had to do it because you had to catch up the bus. But the thing is, like there will be certain situations in our lives when you have to like choose, and that is when we will use our will and make that certain decision. And I will also add another example here, like when we're dealing with the kids, especially in schools or in daycare centers, what happens is that elder people are really nice with the kids when the parents are around, but when they're not around, they just yes, they're very casual. So I think these very general examples from our daily life tells us that how we can improve our character.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I assume we're all talking about the sincerity in our heart. And when we say in Chinese, 诚于中，行于外, if you have this sincerity in your heart, and you will express likewise. I assume the difficult part to become a Junzi is exactly like being watchful of yourself when you're alone, because nobody's around you, and you may find you can do something. Okay, you go beyond the limits. Okay, you go beyond the limits. So, and then the last thing I would like to, maybe we will leave this topic more in the later chapter, but I would like to mention that about the one of the characteristics of Junzi. And actually, according to Confucius, and Junzi have developed himself from inward and then outward. Inward, he focused on the self-cultivation, be watchful of himself when he was alone. But self-cultivation is not one of the steps. It come along with like a person's whole life. Okay, so and then Junzi, the first Junzi cultivate himself in order to receive revere, be respectable himself, and then he tried to extend it to other people. So there is a sentence in Chinese, 修己以敬 and 修己安人 and 修己以安百姓. So these are the three steps of becoming a Junzi and the fullest manifestation of his morality, not only within himself, but outwardly will express his moralities to people and also eventually to others. So of this relatedness, we'll leave more to talk in the later chapters. So, Hermie, I assume this is the end of today's conversation. So, thank you for staying with us, and don't forget to come back soon again.
See you next time.